Yo, what up? This is Jared.
This is Kills.
Back at it again with another episode of Bikini Bottom Banter. And this week, we did Survival of the Idiots and Dumped. Alright. So, Survival of the Idiots. So, you know what? Funny enough, didn't we see the pre-hibernation was last week?
Yeah.
So, I kind of see this as like a semi-sequel to that because Sandy's in hibernation mode right now.
That's what it seems like.
Right?
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
I just want to make sure that you got the same vibes.
Yeah.
But, you know, Sandy sets up a whole video for SpongeBob and Patrick or any visitor for, like, you know, visiting. But she specifically name drops. That means use SpongeBob.
Yeah.
In the video, letting the town of Bikini Bottom know that she is hibernating. Do not disturb.
That was specifically for SpongeBob.
Yup.
That was for nobody else.
Yup. The mailman comes by. It's just like, I don't know. He just puts it in.
Yeah.
But they find out that when going in, because Patrick is disobedient, when going into Sandy's home, it's snowing. And they discover that snow is water, so they can take off their helmets and be okay and everything.
That was creative. That was a creative idea.
Right?
That was creative.
I think that, like, ultimately, like, it just, like, it kind of showed, like, all right, they can have some logic in SpongeBob. But this episode, the hijinks begin with, like, Sandy just trying to sleep, but being big and everything. She looks like a bear. Patrick says, it looks like an overinflated Sandy doll.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dang.
Yeah, he definitely caught a stray on that one.
You know, and Patrick giving the candy bar wrapper description where he's just like, it's a vest. Like, he's using pronouns and words. He's never, let it fill your soul with hydrogen. Like, it's just, Patrick goes so OD with it.
Yeah, that was the first time seeing snow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the first episode with snow because I'm thinking,
the Christmas episodes and stuff, yeah.
well, yeah, I guess.
And other episodes.
The Christmas episode and then Snowball Effect. That's another one where they have snow.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the hijinks literally occur with, like, SpongeBob and Patrick, you know, trying to have fun and play games in it while Sandy's trying to sleep. Which leads into Dirty Dan and Pinhead Larry.
Yeah, classic.
So what's your favorite joke, Keels?
My favorite jokes, definitely when they're ripping Sandy's fur.
Okay.
When they go up to the treehouse, and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's cold. What do we do?" Then they go up to Sandy's room where she's sleeping at, and then yeah, like Jared said, like Sandy has a
whole thing of it.
Huge fur. She like grew, like, you know what I mean? She's basically a bear in this episode.
She's 100% a bear.
And so they rip her fur off to keep warm with like Scotch tape.
Oh.
And then they tape it on themselves to keep them warm.
Yo, Patrick, SpongeBob, a big man.
A big man.
Like, yo. Dang.
Oh, that's funny. What were yours?
So I have two. I didn't
have a lot.
Yeah, I have two. So, and I'll set it up. So, segueing into that, when they finally get the fur, it's after, you know, they were deprived from the cold and everything for, I'm going to say, like, at least, like, I'd say, like, honestly, like, a couple months.
I guess it had to be if we're talking about realistic
hibernation. That's why I'm like, yo, like, SpongeBob and Patrick are really in here. Like, what's going on with the Krusty Krab and everything? Like,
right.
But when they finally get all of Sandy's fur, they're like, SpongeBob's like, I'm ready for the longest, coldest winter ever. Bring it on! Like, they both, and then it hard cuts to spring.
Yeah.
Like, the snow just stops, and it's like,
snow just dissipates into the ground. Flowers start coming up.
Like, yo, hilarious. And then also, the Pinhead Larry, Dirty Dan back and forth. You know,
classic.
There's like, Patrick is really another MVP moment. The who you calling Pinhead. But I love. There's two shots. There's one where like Sandy comes out of hibernation, sleepwalking. And, like, throws a plank, and then Patrick just pops out of nowhere. Did you win? Dude! Yo. And then just rolls in.
Rolls into the pit with SpongeBob.
Yup. And then the hilarious when they get buried in the cold because Sandy takes the time to give them a tombstone and bury them in the snow. They're trying to escape because it's so cold in the dome. And SpongeBob actually tries to like open the door and everything. Patrick's like, "Let me try." He just spits on his hand, puffs up, and then open sesame. I'm like, what? But yeah.
Oh my god, buddy. Would you change anything in this?
I would change when they create earmuffs or headphones for Sandy. I would change it because like Patrick's belly button lint just magically turns from like lint to earmuffs. I would have had it's an animation thing. I would have had SpongeBob, turn it into earmuffs, show the creative side of them.
Okay.
What about you?
Honestly, I would have changed the whole, not the whole premise, but a large amount of the premise. This would have been a different episode. So I would have changed it to where like instead of they're outside, they're like tiptoeing around Sandy's house. And so they're like, and so for the fact that it'll make sense, like, okay, they're in there for a month or whatever, and they're like, they gotta live there for a month without, waking up Sandy. You know what I mean? And I just feel like it would have been more jokes that way.
I agree.
Where they got to be quiet and stuff, and it's like a bunch of loud noises and stuff. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Something like that episode where the secret box, where like SpongeBob's trying to be silent, but he's clearly. Yeah, I agree. You would have had more hijinks. And there's some bits where I'm like, how is Sandy asleep for this? Like, come on now.
Or I would have had more scenes where they're in the house and then they finally make it outside and then they have the ending to where it turns into spring and stuff. So I would have had it end like that, where it still becomes spring, but they're in the house more in the episode.
And you were even saying this too, because the ending is that like Sandy comes where she's completely like stripped of all her fur, and she wears SpongeBob and Patrick as like skin, I guess, and it just ends. And you were like,
it wasn't a great ending. Wasn't a great ending because I would have ended it to where. What's it called? Bring it on, and it just would have turned to spring. You know what I mean? They finally fought their way outside or whatever.
Dang,
you know what
irony.
I mean? Yeah, exactly.
Yo.
So that's what I would have did.
And I don't even think it's up for debate. Come on, for meme worthy.
There's no other debate.
I'm Dirty Dan. I'm Dirty Dan.
Which one of you is Dirty Dan?
I am.
Yo. Woo!
Larry.
Now you get yours. I want to know who they are. Who is Dirty Dan and Pinhead Larry? That's what I want to know.
They are Texan outlaws.
They gotta be.
Texan outlaws.
They gotta
somewhere. Be. I'm about to legally... some criminal needs to legally change their name to Dirty Dan. Yo. On a wanted poster.
There had to be an outlaw back in the 1800s. Named Dirty Dan. There had to be in Texas. There had to be.
That'd be a good throwback too. If SpongeBob ever
that
went
would
like
be
Western,
that would be a good throwback episode,
right? Like if they ever went Western,
and that'll take and then that'll take us to Texas. Because I want an episode where Sandy finally goes to Texas,
right?
You know what I mean?
I agree. Like we've seen. I know in the later seasons they have like Sandy's cousin surprisingly
come from
Texas to Bikini Bottom, but I don't think we've ever
have Sandy go back to Texas.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, that would have been a cool episode.
Dang, yeah, and it should have been like a sponge that's like dirty. What's the name? Dirty Dan. Any final thoughts?
Nah, not on that episode. It was a cool episode.
All right. This one, we're gonna ask each other a question on this one, but the episode.
Okay.
Dumped. That music. This episode gave me like PTSD with like flashbacks. I'm like, I know this episode. So, SpongeBob is playing with Patrick, and Gary's there too. Gary gravitates towards Patrick for some odd reason, and. I mean, at first it's like, you can play with, like, Gary. But then it gets to a point where it's like, well, Gary's going over there overnight, so it's like SpongeBob, yeah, you know what, you guys can have a sleepover. Then suddenly a sleepover turns into, I'm still trying to play with Patrick, and SpongeBob feels a little left out, ultimately leading to him getting dumped by Gary for Patrick. Now, SpongeBob tries to do everything to make Gary jealous. He buys a new worm, which is the dog in this universe, gets a new snail, which is the cat, and Patrick is just an asshole in this episode. There's no way around it. It's just, you are the textbook definition.
Yo, he basically stole Gary.
He did.
They were like, yo, that's not your pet at the end of the day. Give the pet back.
Right.
He's like, no, Gary chose me.
Yeah.
Give my cat back.
When Patrick, and we'll save the ending for when we actually get to it, but when he's like, I guess that, and put him in the middle and set him down and let him choose.
I would have punched Patrick right in the face.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, when have you ever bought Gary food, cared about Gary?
Right.
If I was SpongeBob, I'd be like, get over here. And he does. He tries, and then Gary he creeps on back.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. Patrick just how pathetic.
Yo, he was getting on SpongeBob. He was getting on him.
All right.
You have any favorite jokes?
Yeah, 100%. So, 100%. All right. Favorite joke. I do love when he has Rex.
Yeah, that same here.
And the dog literally
he's just panting.
And then when he barks, he has a whole ball and stick and just goes on a bus and leaves. But hands down, in this corner, standing a whopping 2 feet, straight from rock bottom, Larry the Snail.
Yo, Larry was a feral cat. That was a feral cat.
That whole sequence. Meow.
That was a rescue.
Squidward's cat.
That was a rescue.
Yeah.
That was a rescue cat for sure. That cat was vicious. It was hissing at him. It tried to bite him. Ripped up the newspaper. Took the bed.
Yo.
Then it was chilling, watching TV on the couch. Yo, that cat was tripping.
When it's Unibrow, somebody grabs William's cat. He ran away.
Yo, it was growling, snarling at him.
Oh my gosh. Larry, all of his scenes, just so iconic. He has a brief appearance.
Yo.
But, Larry is think of a doppelganger version of, Gary. The most, a negative or a Bizarro version.
All right, it's ugly, colors, got a unibrow.
Oh my gosh. Even the meow, it's meow, that's Gary.
Yeah.
Meow.
Yeah, right, it was basically the same voice they used for Squidward for Larry.
Yeah, hands down. What about you? Favorite joke?
I just got a couple in the beginning where Patrick is talking about a sleepover with Gary, and then he's just blah 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 blah, and then of course the emotional scene where he's like, "I'm a wreck without you."
Oh my gosh, that hit. Patrick is first off, the balls that Patrick has to go to somebody's house and then do
his laundry at SpongeBob's house.
Right. SpongeBob, can we do laundry at laundry? But we used to do laundry. SpongeBob, can we borrow some soap? Soap? But we used to use soap. Do you want fresh scent or heavy? Yeah. SpongeBob said, the world is your litter box. Think of the prized possession of Squidward as your own personal scratching post.
Yeah.
Left the fridge open. All you can eat 24-hour fridge accent. I was wow.
Yeah, he was right. He was ready for him to come back home.
It's just crazy.
And then just the ending. He's like, "Oh, he wanted the cookie in your pocket."
Yeah.
Then
you gotta set it up. You gotta set it up. Because I had that as the meme word.
Oh my god.
But set it up. Go ahead, man.
Nah, you set it up. Go ahead.
All right. So And I'm going to put this as something I would change too. So basically, you know, when doing laundry, which I guess now is like the way that it's like I'm taking off his shorts to get the cookie in the pocket, but Gary just, you know, when Patrick takes off his shorts to do the laundry,
Yeah.
Gary follows into the hamper and then, like, he wants the cookie that was in Patrick's pocket. That was the only reason this entire time why he was following Patrick.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, but I do have in what I would change more scenes where you can go back and watch it and be like, oh, Gary's clearly looking at the back of him, because...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because there's one scene where, like, Gary legit, like, when it's like, come on, like, SpongeBob takes Gary and is like, say goodbye, Gary, and Gary just has this sad look like, meow, like... I'm just like, nah, man, that ain't no cookie. That's love.
Right, exactly.
I need the pimp from North. That's love. Boom. Side to side. Yo. That's love.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, this episode for me, I don't really. It was just a quick episode for me. I didn't had some funny parts, but you know, not as
iconic.
Nah, not really iconic for me, except for you know, just the ending. That's about it.
Dang. I mean, the meme worthy for sure is, I thought what we had was special. Like Patrick at the end when he realized he's been dumped.
Yeah.
But this leads into, let me see if I have anything else, because this leads into, I was waiting for it. So this episode, at least for me, gave me PTSD, because I'm like, dang, that second grade love, you have a crush, and then you feel dumped. I'm like, I feel you, SpongeBob. What was your hardest breakup?
My hardest breakup, I only had one girl that I broke up with, so
Dang.
that was it. I mean, I've had moments where like, dang, I like this chick and now she's dating somebody else, but that's about it, you know. But no, I don't really have too many breakup stories.
I'm in the same boat where it's
especially as a youngin'. I don't.
You know, I'll never forget, 2014, man. I'm telling you, having like when you're talking to somebody, and it's like you're doing everything.
Oh,
right,
thinking you're doing everything right.
Everything right, texting back and forth. I'll just leave it at that.
Now that I do have and then, man, I just feel like the other dude just took the what's the name right from under my feet, like,
swag the rug, like,
I thought what we had was special.
Yup.
Now that I do have, yeah. You unlocked a memory right there.
I'm telling you, man, that was mine. I was like, it wasn't a full dump because I was like most of it is just like, you dumped, you moved on, that's it. Yeah. But like when you're talking with somebody,
and then you're right about to pop the question, you want to date?
Exactly. You try to make it official, and it was a solid, like, I'm gonna say like, maybe about 2 months. Okay. Every day talking, seeing each other, things like that.
Oh man.
2 confirmed dates. Had other friends that were in the that had her friend like she gave positive feedback. I felt like I was like freaking interviewing. Like it's just like met the family. Like it was just.
Wait, you met the family?
Well, I mean, I knew her.
Or you already knew the family?
Yeah, that's the thing. So it's just like, and then
nothing. It
just flatlined at a certain point. And then I got that text. Hey, I think you're a really great guy.
Oh, that's the killer.
That's the killer. When he sees it, it's like, oh, here
that's
it comes.
The killer.
Getting the barrel ready, just like, I think you're a really great guy, but I see you as a friend. No! Play the music.
I've definitely had those moments too where it was like we weren't talking yet, but they already just like, oh, I see you as a brother.
Oh, like, dang.
No.
Right.
I didn't hit you up for that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like, yo, dumped. That literally.
Right, the preemptive dump. Dang, that's crazy.
That's why I said this episode slaps as you get older. It's just
funny.
like
I didn't even put that together like that.
Nope, like
that's
funny. There were some clear parallels. Even when SpongeBob's crying in Gary's food bowl, I'm like, oh man.
Oh shoot.
Any final thoughts?
Nah, I would have threw some more jokes in there. There's not a lot of jokes.
I think it was meant on purpose.
You think? Oh, you think it was meant to be like more emotional?
More emotional. Come on,
okay.
Gary and Spon, that's his pet.
Okay.
Like, I think it was done intentionally because I was thinking that too. I put it in my notes and I'm like, nah, like I get why they did it. Like,
okay, I can respect that. I get it. I respect that.
They were they threw some jokes in there, but they were trying to tell a story. They made Patrick like the bad guy. Like,
definitely did come off as like a soap opera.
Funny. The track is actually called I think it's actually called like soap opera.
Is it really?
I think so. Like the dumped track. Let me look this up.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, I can get that if it's supposed to be emotional.
Yeah.
You know, and then they have the music playing. And,
yeah, it's called daytime drama.
Okay.
Daytime drama. There we go.
All right then.
It's meant to be a soap opera. They got the guitar. Like, I'm just all right. Yeah, it was solid. You know.
Yeah, it's a cool episode.
All right, so that concludes this episode of Bikini Bottom Banter. Stick with us and watch season 1. We're at season 2 right now. I think, we still have a ways before we're at season 3.
Yeah.
But, all right, until next time, this is Jared.
This is Kills.
Another episode of Bikini Bottom Banter in the bag.
Thanks for tuning in to another fantastic episode of Bikini Bottom Banter. Don't forget to follow Bikini Bottom Banter on TikTok and Instagram for even more content. Subscribe to them on YouTube and Anchor, plus turn on bell notifications to be updated on their latest episode. And if you've got your own jellyfishing stories or favorite SpongeBob moments, remember to share them with us. You might just hear them on our next episode. So until then, stay bubbly, keep smiling, and remember, subscribe to Bikini Bottom Banter to know all the under the sea.